What up, y'all? And check it out. My name is the XSP, and you're watching the XCast reviews. And today, before I even get into any of all that, I want to give a shout out to King Cat or Matthew. Thank you for the chicken. It was very much good. That Tender Tuesday is no joke. Fed my whole family. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to this channel and you want to see more content like reviews, I'm an artist myself. You can see live footage. I also do some preaching. If you want to see some preaching videos, they're on there. And some of my other friends, my brother, testimonies, all kinds of different things on this channel. And so before I even get into this review, you know, Kanye West has been in the news a lot lately. And he just so happened to release a new album this month, not too long ago, on the 25th, I believe it was. And everybody's been talking about it. I've even heard, seen some former Christian rappers go, it's the second worst thing that happened to Jesus. Now, I don't know what your opinion is, but I'm about to give my opinion on this album. So this album is called Jesus is Now King. If you know anything about Kanye West, he was a very narcissistic individual. Seems like now he's putting up Jesus on the throne and putting Kanye down underneath that throne. The album cover looks like this. Hopefully it's in sync, or hopefully it's in focus here. And we're going to talk about it. The first track on this album is called Every Hour, and basically it's what it sounds like to me is a gospel choir in a black church singing to Jesus, singing songs and whatnot. And that's what it feels like. That's exactly what it sounds like. So not much to tell other than it's a choir. It's kind of an introduction to what this whole album is going to be about. So the next song is called Selah, and if you're not a Bible reader, Selah means to think or to ponder on what you just heard, what you just read. And this track has a lot of it's a very simple soundscape, like maybe some flowing keyboards, not so much very percussive, but very just long noted keys, and also some boom 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 midway through the track. And then as you get closer to the end, it has a hallelujah, 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 and just a big chorus that builds up toward the end. Upon first listen to this, I was like, it was okay. I wasn't really totally immersed into it. I was listening to it on my phone, and I listened to it on different devices so I can hear the tones and the different soundscapes. And upon like the second, third listen, that hallelujah just brought in a very it brought in a different vibe. Like I just felt it a little bit more on a bigger sound system, and that's cool. That's one of the things that I liked about the track, is that upon another listen it became a little more powerful. Number 3, Follow God. This is a sampled beat, kind of what you heard in maybe I ain't saying she a gold digger. You know how it has that sampled core vocal lines to make the beat. That's kind of what this is like, but it also sounds like an old black gospel singer that he sampled on the beat. And it's kind of like a conversation he's having with God. He's saying, hey, I talked to my dad, and he's telling me I'm not being Christ-like, so I need to be Christ-like. And toward the end, he kind of does this kind of real childish type thing to do. And that's one of my beefs with these next two songs. There were some things that were in there that kind of sounded a little childish, that made what he just said, the serious stuff that he just said, kind of go to the wayside. And all you heard was that last little childish type yell. Number 4 is called Close on Sunday. And let me be very, very up front here. This song is not about Chick-fil-A. Alright, don't get it twisted. Now, I'm trying to be unbiased on my take on what I hear in the production and also on the lyric side. And this is not about Chick-fil-A. There may be a line about Chick-fil-A, but a lot of people are making fun of this song as if it's something that's corny or something that's not to be listened to or silly. But listen to the words he's saying. He's saying, put down the gram, get with your fam, and let's pray. So basically trying to say, put away all the devices, all the stuff that distracts you, get with your family and teach them something. He talks about guarding your daughters from snakes, teaching young men to rise up in the faith. And I can get down with that kind of message. Although at the end of this one also, he has this weird thing where he's like, Chick-fil-A! Which is like, it's childish. All the things he just said go to the wayside when you hear something like that. So I think if I was Kanye, what I would do is maybe on the next record, if he does do another gospel record, not do those type of things. Because it seems very childish. Takes away from the message that he was trying to portray. Let's see. The next one, On God. Heavy modulation, has a on the track. And it sounds like something from Mad Child, if you've heard an underground rapper named Mad Child. It sounds kind of like a beat that he would use. It's not the greatest song. Kind of sounds like a freestyle lyrically, but definitely one to listen to. Not the worst one on the album. And I won't even say that there's worse songs on this album. I can tell you that I'm not a fan of Kanye, what he's done before. I've heard some things, but I'm not a huge fan. So I can tell you very unbiasedly that, this is a good song. It's alright. Alright, number 6, Everything We Need. Kind of a trappy style beat, trappy style delivery, expressing Christian concepts over this kind of trappy style. He's saying stuff like Adam's first sin, then a choir comes in and utilizes that chorus with a big choir. It's definitely something that he kind of gravitates toward the middle and end of the album. So it's definitely one to listen to. If you like trappy stuff, that's cool. It's like almost as if he's trying to reach the kids from right now, which that's what they're all into. They're all in that trap style, and it's worth a listen. Number 7, called Water. It's a very singy kind of track, and it starts with these these keyboards that maybe you might hear in a cult movie, or it sounds something like now don't get me twisted on this, because Paul McCartney of Wings has inspired many people, and Kanye could be one of those people. And don't think that I'm comparing musicianship. I'm saying that maybe Kanye was inspired by something Paul McCartney had done. So with that being said, there's these modulations and keyboards that kind of have this 70s kind of Wings style to them. Have you ever heard the song Wonderful Christmas Time from Wings? It has kind of those kind of keyboards. If you understand that song, if you heard that song, you know what I'm talking about. On the production side, on the lyrical side, it's very plain. I feel like an artist the caliber of Kanye could do a lot better. But it's like, Jesus, we need this. Jesus, we need that. Jesus, we need, not so much in those words, but the delivery of the lyrics, or the delivery of the lyrics are very plain. I feel like Kanye could have done better, and he had done better on the album. Although the whole atmosphere of the song is very cool, has some singing in it. Definitely like a cult movie, if that makes sense. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely something that's you can hear as we go further in the album. All right, number 8 is called God Is, and this is a gospel type track, gospel singing. More big strings on the production, some more of that kind of cultish type feel. And like I said, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's as a feel, as a atmosphere, kind of a cultish, kind of not a cult, but cult as in a group of people that believe in a certain way and how they have built their own type of atmosphere. All right, but it's a good track, definitely worth to listen. This whole album is really worth to listen. All right, number 9 is called Hands On. So this is more of that 70s style organ, the opening line, and the opening line is turn off the lights because he is the light, and it's done in a very trappy way. Some of the concepts in here are the fact that even he knew, because he had done so much, he had so much narcissism, even calling himself, saying that he should be in the Bible, things like that. borderline on blasphemy, that Christians would judge him for doing a Christian album. Definitely all throughout this whole album, he's not uplifting himself, he's uplifting Jesus. So he says something like, Christians be the first ones to judge me. And honestly, that's what we're seeing in the media right now, if we look more deep into it. But one of my favorite tracks on the album, number 10, Use the Gospel. So this one has different artists on it, I believe, and the words on the track are great. The beat, although sounds like a turn signal, has that bing, 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 bing all throughout the track, and it definitely distracts from what else is going on with production. There's some other cool little soundscapes, but there's that note that just, it really hammers into your brain to where you can't really pay attention to the rest of the lyrics. Unlike a lot of the album, which is very stripped down, where the lyrics take the forefront, this one is kind of the opposite of that. Has way overproduced. Maybe some of the sounds need to be taken out, especially that piano note that just pings all throughout the track. So it has a good mix of rap styles. There's some singing in there. There's a brass section. Another one of those kind of culty kind of feels to it, but it has like a brass kind of saxophone interlude. I heard it was a Kenny G sample. I can't verify that. I'm not looking at all the production value or who did the production. I'm guessing that Kanye did it himself, since his background is being a producer. Alright, last track is called Jesus is Lord, and it has a brass section with carries, some singings, very soulful, to the point. It's only not even a minute long, to close out the track, to say, hey, Jesus is alive, Jesus is the King. So with all that being said, what's the bottom line? Well, me, for one, not being a Kanye fan, not being someone who's followed his career very closely, I can say it's a good album. The production is great. It's very clear. The lyrics are clear. There's very clear production. Very moving in some parts. I would say that I would listen to it again. And there's a lot of people who will naysay and say he's just people, or he's kind of taking out or trolling people. But I can tell you this: he's making some stands in the media, taking a stand against abortion, taking a stand of how liberal people try to take advantage of dark-skinned people or people of color, and he's taking a stand of that, thinking for yourself. That kind of thing you find in Liberation of Jesus Christ, I feel. And I feel like this is a case of Paul, the apostle. Before he was Paul, he was Saul. And people kind of going, wait a minute, didn't this guy kill Christians? Didn't this guy talk about Christians? And that's kind of the thing that he's going through. Would I say that he's ready to pastor a church? No. Would I say that he's ready to speak in a church and give a sermon? No. But I am telling you, give him a chance to rise up, to grow in his faith. Because one of the things, it seems like in this album, he sounds like a new convert who's knowing the love of Jesus for the first time, and he's kind of expressing it in a way the only way that he knows how. Which some of it, like I said, is very childish, but that's okay. As he grows, he can learn how to express it a little better. And one of the things I like about this is it's original. It's not the type, in Christian rap, what you see a lot of times is they'll try to take what's already in the world and make it Christian, like a Christian Cypress Hill, or a Christian Snoop Dogg, or a Christian whoever. And it lacks originality a lot of times, where they try to kind of carbon copy so they can give for secular ears to give a listen. But this, I believe, is something totally different. Something totally outside of what he normally does, and definitely you can see that there's a change in what he's talking about, what he's all about. So I'd say, bottom line, you can give it a listen if you like big choruses, if you like gospel tracks where there's choirs. That's not always my thing. I like heavy music. I like heavy, hard, gritty hip-hop music. So this is definitely not all my what I'm listening to, not the first thing I pull off the shelf, but definitely it will be put on my shelf, as this doesn't have a CD in it just yet, but I will be downloading that and creating something for the shelf. Also, as a side note, a lot of this album, the delivery sounds a lot like a Christian rapper by the name of Eshon Burgundy, who have been rapping probably just as long as Kanye, and I don't believe that they're from maybe similar areas of the United States, but I don't think that the Eshon Burgundy was influenced to that effect in his delivery, and I think they may have played off each other. But definitely something to look into. Eshon Burgundy, shout out to you. Definitely someone I listen to, someone that has those type of kind of string filled beats with the big choruses with soulful singers. You can see the correlations there if you listen to both of them, but I definitely do believe they were on separate paths for a long time until right now. Other than that, I'd say I don't give whether it's 1 through 5 or whatever. I don't like to judge music like that, being a musician myself. I believe it's a great effort from someone who's trying to be original, who's also trying to express some new feelings that they're feeling. And I'd say if you like that kind of thing, if you're open to that kind of thing, pick it up. If you don't, then don't. Then just toss it aside. I wouldn't suggest to cap on the man. He's just a man who's going through things in his life and who wants to have a change in his life, and that shouldn't be looked down upon. Someone who's trying to change for the better shouldn't be looked down upon. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm the XSP. There'll be descriptions in the comments on where you can find my music, and maybe a couple of other links to some of the things that I have said, Eshon Burgundy and whatnot. Kanye, peace out to you. If you do another album, I'll probably listen to it. You have created a buzz in my ear, so to speak, because of what you're doing in that. And I'm definitely going to keep on the lookout. You keep on the lookout. My name is the XSP. This is the XCast Reviews. Thank you very much.